So apparently Dragon Ball is switching to AI. Just another excuse for the studio to be lazy. Was it Toei? They've been lazy forever, like since 2014. Really, they've always been lazy. Like, look at Dragon Ball Z. Look at the original Dragon Ball Z. Look at the release of Dragon Ball Z. But it was my childhood, man. I love Dragon Ball. I love Dragon Ball Z. I even love GT and Super and all of it. I love all of it. But yeah, ever since Super, it's been super lazy. And it's just gonna get worse. Hopefully the stories are better. Hopefully the animation's better. Hopefully it's more interesting. Doesn't really matter if they use AI if they're still shit at writing stories.
Well, this isn't going to go over very well with certain parts of animation fandom. Toei Animation,
Yeah, I don't know. I'm 50-50 on this.
the studio responsible for Dragon Ball and One Piece, is going to be using more AI. Oh, golly gee.
That just means that more artists are going to be out of the job. But you know, it might look better. So that's all I really care about. I don't really care about jobs in the entertainment industry because more people working on something usually means corporate slop. But it means laziness. It means less people are going to be able to just break through, but it also means more people will be able to just use AI outside of being in this company to make their own thing and make it easier, and the tools will be easier, but maybe they'll patent the certain AI in the way the AI works, you know? So you won't be able to actually use the tools. All the AI tools will just be locked away behind paywalls or straight up trademarked, have copyrighted AI. That'd be ridiculous, man.
Who could have imagined?
They're all using AI already. You just weren't aware of it.
We're going to talk about that. Yes, we're going to talk about that because I've actually had some people connected to the industries come, because I did a video yesterday talking about AI. I actually had a couple people come to me and say, hey, I know for a fact in Hollywood they are using AI right now. They're just not saying anything about it because they want it to be safe. So when it's safe, they'll be like, oh, by the way, we've been doing it for like 3 years and we just never told you guys. We never told you. But
yeah, I can tell that they've been using AI. Everything's been lazy, slop, look terrible, doesn't make any sense. The characters don't make sense, like the way the characters look don't make sense. They're using AI to generate the ideas and then they're just doing it. They're just churning them out. I think that's really what they did with Marvel. That's why they have so much Marvel stuff going.
this is throwing animation Twitter into a tizzy because they're like, how very dare you? How could you? We told you so.
Yeah, I kind of don't care about it. I was already out on a lot of this stuff, and there's still going to be great stuff being made. I'm kind of just like, at this point, just, you know, if you're a mid-tier artist, who cares? I don't care about mid-tier art as much as the high-tier art. I don't know. This is a difficult one to talk about because I really don't care if artists don't make any money, because that's not what it's been about forever. It's never really been about money. And then people turned it into a thing about money. They turned art into a job instead of a thing to do because you actually feel it. You actually feel expression and feel things and you want to get them out. It's like, no, I have to get this painting out every single day. I gotta get a new one out every day so it can hit the algorithm. I gotta get this video out every day so it can hit the algorithm. It's all for algorithms and ad revenue, and artists now are just like doing background art for like channel pages and wanting money for that. I'm just, and those people are gonna be out of the job, and I'm just like, you know, who needed those people? Really?
It's going to happen. It is going to speed up production. You know, it depends on how it's used, but
yeah, we're definitely going to get a whole bunch more slop.
they're all going to use it to some capacity, guaranteed. And yeah, are jobs going to be lost? Absolutely. Every time.
Jobs are going to be lost, but it's also not going to take a decade to make something great anymore. It's going to be more like 3-4 years, maybe even sooner than that. Between these big blockbuster movies and shows, it's just not going to take near as long. Maybe we'll get like a season of a show every year, maybe 2 seasons a year. That'll especially help when you got like young people and kids in these shows, and you can just get them out faster So the third season, they're not adults when they're supposed to be like 17.
There's a major leap in technology, jobs are lost, but also new jobs may be created if these studios can produce more content and they need more people to kind of oversee it. Anyway, we're going to talk about the reaction.
I actually didn't think about that. If they're able to save up some jobs with generation, they're going to be able to generate more, and they're going to need more people to do more generation. They can't just have one person doing everything unless they have an AI that's creating AI to make these things. You know, eventually they might be doing that.
Before we get into it any further, this is Neon. This is Clownfish TV. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And please subscribe to the channel for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. You'll get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo.
So, yeah, I saw this the other day. You were talking about too. But they said, according to their official site, they plan to use AI in future productions for storyboard creation, coloring, automatic correction of Genga and in between frames, and generating backgrounds from photos. I think that is an acceptable use. They're not replacing animators per se, but they're getting rid of some of the grunt work.
Yeah, things to streamline it, save time.
But that also gets rid of jobs for some
Not
people.
necessarily. I mean, depending how you use it, but it might get rid of some of the crunch.
Right. Because if it's
No, these are still corporations we're talking about. It's not going to get rid of the crunch. They're just going to crunch on something else. Because it's never enough. Got to make bigger, better, make more money every time. Or it's a failure.
it's like, oh my God, you know, how many backgrounds do I have to paint, or how many? I mean, they're doing it already. Like, you look at it, becomes very noticeable when you watch Retro Crush, and I love Retro Crush. But you look at some of the old anime and you look at the TLC, and I'm sure there's a lot of those people working in like sweatshop conditions. Like, literally, it's very, very hot over there. And they're in these little studios working on these animations. But you look at the TLC that was put into the backgrounds and the whatever back then, and then you compare it to now, everything looks very digital. And
Yeah,
it
but
looks,
you have to remember too, back then, a lot of times they would just use the same things, like the backgrounds and stuff. That's why they had like transformation sequences or sequences they would just use like over and over and over.
Here's a good example for like Disney movies. They used to use the same like frames, the same scenes, and they would just paint over them. They'd use like I forget what they're called. They're like still images that you put backgrounds on, and then they would just reuse them. Like, look it up. It's like a Sword in the Stone reused animation. And it's not just that one. It's like all over the old Disney cartoons, and you don't notice it. And I think that stuff's fine, because it's telling a different story. It looks different. It's just kind of the way the animation flows is exactly the same.
Over again to save time and save money.
yeah, we're gonna like 2 minutes of this character transforming, or you know, my favorite, we're just gonna kind of pan across the skyline and they're gonna talk over it, or we're gonna be like, you know, here's a static shot of their bedroom, and they actually made fun of that. I think in Invincible, where you know all the animation tricks, like so their mouth isn't moving, you see the characters from behind or whatever, so they don't have to handle all that
So
stuff.
like they, you know, they had that. It was like you had that more, you know, everything was hand done, but they would reuse a lot or like find ways like you're talking about to make it less work.
Right,
And with
right.
AI, they might be able to make sure everything is like you might look more digital, but it'll be more finished and more engaging.
Yeah, but of course, you know, people are going to have a meltdown over it because for some reason people have made the connection between any use of AI, even using AI as a tool, as like they're literally ripping off other people's art.
I use AI for stuff. My character is generated by AI. This PNG that you're seeing, I generated it using Grok, but it was based on a picture of me.
It's like, no, I mean, was there training him? Yeah. Is that sketchy legally? Yeah. But I mean, if these studios are going to use the AI, they're going to train it off of their own stuff. Disney's going to
Right.
do the same thing.
See,
right?
I'm just like I do not want to see people replaced with AI. I can see it used as a tool. I don't think they should be scraping other people's stuff, but then apparently it doesn't matter.
And a lot of people like me are going to be using AI because we literally have nobody else to help us.
Whether you use AI or not. There's other places, other gaming places and stuff that do that anyway.
They're already doing it. They already admitted to it. And I talked about that yesterday. They're saying,
Yeah, I kind of don't care if AI gets used to make corporations even more sloppy. when they're making the tools better by using it, even, you know, if we get slop from them. But all the indie artists, all the breakout artists being able to use AI, that's what I'm looking forward to.
The CEO of Level 5 said that 80 to 90% of video games are already using AI tools. They have been for the last couple of years. I think Hollywood, my understanding is Hollywood has also been using them, especially during the strikes. The strikes actually...
Hollywood and like giant corporations have been experimenting with AI since like 2012.
Lit a fire under their asses because they're like, yeah, we can't have everybody just call off work anymore. So call in the robots.
What I was saying though is like other places now are just already, because they run out of ideas, they already went and scraped other people's work, and it was people scraping other people's work.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, like Disney is, everybody's like, well, we don't want Disney using AI to lift our stuff. I'm like, Disney's gonna lift your stuff regardless.
Like that one artist guy who did the tiki, the tiki room the drummer model, and the other guy, you know, pretty much stole it down to the, you know, every scratch match, everything match exactly, put his own name on it, and it didn't stop. He didn't use AI, but it didn't stop him from taking it. You know, that's what I'm talking about. It's like they've already been taking it. Disney's always taken, you know, popular Etsy designs and...
Okay, to be fair, it's not Disney taking them. It's like lazy employees who are just trying to work to get paid and work as fast as possible, because you work faster, you get paid more.
Oh, look, here's a new shirt official.
Well, it's not just them. I mean, it's other companies too. They've gotten busted taking fan art designs.
Destiny, Bungie, Marathon, that whole situation.
You know, we're talking about Marathon from Bungie that they lifted. I mean, they didn't change anything. They just lifted artwork from a freelancer's portfolio, and the art director of Bungie actually followed that freelancer. So it's like, you can't tell me you weren't aware.
Yeah, don't forget the whole lawsuit that's happening because of Destiny.
Right. So I'm like, if they're worried about that, that's happening already anyway, which is crap. But I mean, you could be inspired by something, but you shouldn't be like just directly copying it. And that's already going on. That's why I'm saying AI as a tool that you use your own stuff to train it, so you're not like stealing other people's stuff.
Yeah.
Yes, but and not to replace people. I mean, if you don't, maybe streamline it, make it a little easier for the people there, so then maybe where they might have taken you know.
Yeah, and like make a whole bunch of art stuff, like art styles, and then generate using AI, using those assets that you created. I could see that happening a lot, and that's going to be cool and interesting to see how people use that.
12 hours a day, they can get it down to a regular normal day.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like the conditions overseas in these animation studios are sometimes pretty horrendous. I mean,
they scream about it, and we want those conditions to be better, but they find a way to make it better. Not that way.
Not that way. Yeah, exactly. Right. Like if you could take, all those poor overworked Japanese animators, which, you know, they're going on about like they need to unionize, they need to make more money, and they're really underpaid. So instead of working 14 hours a day, you get them down to a 7-8 hour workday with a lunch break, because they can use AI to pick up the slack for, you know what I'm saying?
You can get paid a little more because, you know, a couple bucks an hour or whatever more would still be less than having them do all the overtime. You know, you might be able to still get some more money in there.
Or, you know, hiring other employees to take over jobs that you can now take over because you can just use the AI to take it over, instead of hiring a whole nother employee or more.
Too, and get twice as much done in a regular time frame.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Like, it's never AI, and I've talked about this before. Like, when you're using AI as a tool to help with productivity, it's not replacing artists per se. It's replacing grunt work. It's basically getting rid of the tedious stuff. And eventually, what's going to happen? What is going to be normal? And it's going to happen even with, you know, Disney and DreamWorks and all these, you know, bigger studios. Is they're going to have a database of all the characters and the backgrounds and the references and the whatever, and they can just pull from it and have the AI just kind of like, hey, we need Ariel, you know, doing this thing. Well, we've got, you know, the Ariel, all of her, you know, renders or whatever. I mean, it's kind of like 3D, but we got like everything on the server somewhere. Hey, AI, hey, Walt, whatever.
Yeah, and it's mostly going to be trash. Most of it's going to be trash until it's not. Every once in a while, from these big corporate slop studios, we'll get a banger. They'll just, you know, pull something out of their ass, and it'll be amazing. They do it sometimes.
They're gonna call it.
Oh
go
my
in,
gosh, don't call
grab,
it.
you know, it would be you know, W.A.A. or L, I'm sorry. Yeah, put an AI in there. LT, Walt the computer. Hey, go in and make Ariel do this thing for this commercial for the hotel or whatever. And they'll be able to, and also keep everything consistent too.
Let's be honest, it should be called
Yeah, right. Yeah, they kept Ub in the closet working on Mickey Mouse while Walt was also working on Oswald. So that was a whole thing. Anyway, let's leave this article. This is coming from comicbook.com. Dragon Ball One Piece Studio reveals AI plans and fans aren't happy. Now,
who's the fans that they're talking about? I don't know. Are they just talking about fans on Twitter? Because I don't think regular fans actually know or care that this is happening. Because, you know, they're just going to work every day and they'll watch Dragon Ball if it comes on Crunchyroll.
It is being said that the creative director of One Piece, he does not want to use AI. So
most artists don't. I mean, let's be honest.
That's the creative director, though. And he can say that, but when it gets into the weeds, right? When they get into the actual production,
when you've got like 30 people who are above you, and there are people above those people and people above those people, you don't really have a choice if you want or don't want something to happen.
And they're like, hey, we can do the coloring or the in-betweening in like 1/10 of the time with AI. I can't make the justification to go in and use a person or whatever. They'll buckle. He might say I'm against it, but that doesn't mean that they're not going to do it.
You're talking two things that are ongoing show types as opposed to just a standalone movie for the most part. I mean, there's standalone movies too, but you know what I mean? I think when you have to get a lot of things turned.
What I'm worried about is a bunch of these studios are going to be using the same tools and same assets, and everything's going to look the same. And Hollywood likes to do this. They like movies to all look kind of similar, so it like feels like you have a cultural thing happening, but really it just makes everything look the same.
Ever fast as possible, and people are demanding things faster.
Yeah.
It makes sense to use it in that regard, but I think like films and stuff, I would rather just use regular people to make sure that they're doing, taking longer, but maybe doing a better product.
Well, the animation industry would be so much better if they used regular people and not abnormal people, because the abnormal people cause all kinds of problems for them.
Yeah, there's a bunch of these corporate slop companies are going to be so cooked because they've got all these crazy people and they're going to be using AI, and they're just not going to know what to do with themselves. They're going to have to fire the crazy people and then fire the AI. Just do everything by hand again. We're going back to the Stone Age, ladies and gentlemen, making cave paintings.
Right?
I mean, but yes, I guess I walked right into that one, but yeah.
It's so weird because we talked about this before, like the Japanese animators, the people that actually do the animation, the people that actually do the work, and they get the storyboards from the US, and they said specifically they're going to use it for storyboarding, by the way, so good luck with that. But they said that American storyboarders are very difficult to work with.
Oh, shocker.
Yeah, and they don't particularly enjoy it. So they might be able to be like, you know what? We don't even need them. Don't need them anymore. But they work on all the big ones. Sailor Moon, Digimon, Dragon Ball, One Piece, going back to Transformers. They did the animation for G1 Transformers too.
I don't think a lot of people realize that a lot of those shows in the 80s were animated in Japan.
Yeah, they did a lot of...
Yeah, Scooby-Doo, a lot of it was animated in Korea and France. I don't know about the original Scooby-Doo. I'm talking about like What's New Scooby-Doo in the movies.
Like Western shows. But Transformers in particular, Transformers the movie, which had some of the best anime style animation of any movie in the 80s, was actually done by Toei.
I actually reacted to that entire movie. If you want to check that out, just look up Fable's Folly Transformers. You'll find it.
So, there you go. But they said that they're going to use AI to co-develop new business opportunities and improve the efficiency and quality of our productions, capitalizing on synergies between AI and animation production technology. So this is next year they're going to start using it. So I think, right here. So here is, let's open this up here a little bit, see what we're looking at. So they're going to invest in preferred networks, okay, a company with cutting-edge AI technology with an eye on launching a joint venture We will seek to co-develop new business opportunities and improve the efficiency. Okay, so this is what they're going to use it for: storyboarding, coloring and color specification, in-betweening. That is actually the best use of it, I think, because that's tedious. Backgrounds.
But unfortunately, it's a lot of people, these jobs sound like there'll be a lot of people out of work.
Yeah, because you're getting rid of background painters. I think they're already kind of doing that, though, because you look at a lot of newer anime and it looks very CGI, or it looks like, oh, that's just a Photoshop with a filter. And how far we've come. A couple of years ago, there was, I forget what the show was, but they were accusing them of using AI for backgrounds, and the backgrounds just looked like a bunch of gobbledygook. It was like a bunch of random plants and like whatever, but that was the world that they lived in. It wasn't consistent. And I'm like, yeah, AI in the last 2 to 3 years has gotten freakishly good.
Yeah, just wait and see what we got in like 2 years. You yourself might be making your own anime. You just tell it like a synopsis, what you want, like a summary, and it'll just generate an episode. You'd be like, yeah, this is good. And then tell it to generate 12 episodes of it. And it might not be very good. It might be kind of weird and off-putting. Give it 2 more years after that. If that even. Did you see that Lord of the Rings Studio Ghibli thing? We're getting to crazy levels.
Mm-hmm.
And, using it for...
in the last 6 months.
Oh, yeah. You would be shocked. And this is... I'm talking the consumer grade. Like, you have no idea what Hollywood has, because they get the good stuff. They get the primo industrial strength stuff. So Hollywood animation studios, they're going to get the really, really good stuff. And it's going to be able to do a lot of this. So yeah, you're not going to have people coloring, or I'd say ink and paint, but they don't do that anymore. You're not going to have people painting backgrounds. I think, again, you're going to have 3D characters that will eventually be, you'll have your animation, they'll be rigged already. You just basically just rotoscope them. Just here, we're gonna have an actor do it.
I think like the indie studios, I think they'll still do everything by hand, and that'll be part of their ad campaign. I think everyone's gonna start marketing the fact that they don't use AI. You're already seeing it, but I think people are gonna be like, we did everything by hand. We didn't use any AI tools, even when we could have. We're gonna see a lot more of that stuff. But we're also going to see a lot more corporate slop who just don't care and just going to make as much money as possible, nickel and diming people, putting it on all the platforms, making ad money, putting it on Crunchyroll, all the streaming services.
Thing or whatever, and then we're going to put the filter on with AI, and there's our Pixar character. So there go, how many jobs?
Yeah.
So this is why they're all fighting so hard to keep them. And I get it. I mean, it literally is survival, but the studios have to survive too.
Well, looks like they're all going to be working at grocery stores. Put the burger in the bag.
And they're not going to be able to survive if they're not making any profit, right? So yeah, they're saying One Piece, no, but yeah, people are not happy about it. I'm
just going to say it again that I don't care.
I don't know what to tell you, right? I mean, I'm just at the point where I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. All that hoopla over.
It's going to happen no matter what.
Yeah, it's going to happen no matter what. And the thing is it's already being used. You just don't know about it.
And like, there's so much slop out there right now that's being pushed as 10 out of 10 that I just don't care. Like, let it all fall. Even if they stay afloat, pushing all this AI slop, I'm not gonna be interested in it if it's not good. You know what I mean? Like, there's so much content out there that I could watch all of the movies and TV shows from like 1970 to now, and I will die before I even get through 5% of it, if even that. And that's not even counting all the time I'm gonna spend playing video games. I'm not getting through like 0.5% of video games.
So
depends on the studio. I think some studios are gonna be emphatically against it for now. Until they get, if they fall behind, then they might not have a choice.
Well, what I'm waiting to see happen, again, talking about, outsourced animation, is Hollywood studios sending the stuff overseas, and then they'll get busted like, oh my God, there's extensive use of AI in this animated series. And then producers in America will just be like, we had no idea.
Probably.
We just outsourced it. And well, somehow it wound up in China and then in North Korea, and they were using AI. I know, just, you know what? Not our problem.
I think you're going to see it more, like I said, used for like shows and things, when people are waiting for like long times between seasons and they're trying to.
Yes, that's what I said. It's going to make seasons not take as long to come out.
To speed that up. I think you're going to see it used there more than like in movies.
Yeah, I think so. I think, I mean, movies though is getting freakishly good, but I think, yeah, anything that's high demand, quick turnaround,
faster turnover. Yeah.
Right. This person, this is what you said.
The only problem is they're also going to be using AI generated scripts.
Dakota here. The funny part is y'all would rather have animators slave away trying to make good animation instead of using tools that can drastically reduce their workload.
Yeah, and then you got it on the other side that's saying that, like, it's not going to be as good, it's going to look like slop. It's just like, there's arguments for it and there's arguments against it, and that's why I really just don't care. Whatever happens is going to happen.
That's what I was saying, yeah, because that's what all I am hearing.
Yeah, and manga artists and anime artists notoriously are not that healthy. Their lifestyles are not good. They're hunched over a desk, 14, 16 hours a day. I've seen the schedule. I mean, Oda's a workaholic.
Yeah, if they're good at their job, and there are people who are good at their jobs, then it doesn't matter if they're going to use AI tools. It's going to be a good product. Really, that's all I care about in the entertainment industry, is a good product. Something that I love. Something that I just like, actually. I don't have to love it. Talented people are still going to be turning out 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 stuff. Corporate slop's going to be corporate slop. As always, as usual.
He's a workaholic anyway, but like I've seen the schedules of mangaka, and it's really bad. Like, I mean, there's like no life. 7 days a week, 14 hours a day.
What's that like?
Yeah, hunched over a table, right? Yeah, we have multiple businesses, so it's basically that way for us too. But I'm saying, like, yeah, they'd rather see these people, die of a heart attack at 52 years old or something than be able to have a normal day and a life and a whatever. I mean, that's the upside of it. But I guess you have to figure out, like, where do you draw the line? Like, do you use it as a tool to help people make things, or you just realize, like, well, we don't need people at all. We'll just fire up the anime bot and let it go. I don't know.
Yeah, that's how you're going to get the corporate slop, but the talented people aren't going to do that. Unless they are really good at it, and then they'll do it well. As an experiment, probably. I don't know. That's all I got for this video. Buy a t-shirt down there in the description. I'm out.